House of Representatives released Tax Reform Act to address discrepancy. Air Force strikes terrorist hideout in Borno and Katsina. Nigeria to lead talks at Africa Energy Indaba 2026 in Cape Town. Trump says US will tap Venezuela's crude oil after Maduro's capture. Hello, welcome to the news update on Trust TV. My name is Hawa Gambo. Thank you for joining us. The National Assembly has released the certified true copies of 4 tax reform acts recently signed into law by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, making them available for public verification and reference. The House of Representatives spokesman Akiro said the press release was directed by Senate President Godswill Akpabio and the Speaker of the House of Representatives Tajuddin Abbas, following public concerns over alleged discrepancies in the law. Rotimi explained that the documents included the endorsement and assent pages personally signed by the President, stressing that the move was aimed at addressing allegations of possible alterations and the circulation of unauthorized and misleading versions of the law. According to him, the decision was taken to eliminate doubts, restore clarity, and protect the integrity of the legislative process. Rotimi emphasized that the National Assembly remains vigilant in safeguarding the sanctity of its legislative work, noting that only the certified and officially released versions constitute the authentic and authoritative tax laws. The Kano State Special Advisors Forum has pledged its unwavering loyalty to Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf, reaffirming its alignment with his political leadership and what it described as a tense political atmosphere in the state. The forum made the declaration in a statement issued in Kano and signed by its secretary Idris Salisu Rogo, stressing that Governor Yusuf remains the head of the government with the ultimate authority over political decisions in the state. According to the statement, members of the forum resolved to support all political decisions taken by the governor in the overall interest of Kano State and the welfare of its people. The advisors also urged political actors, party members, and appointees and supporters to exercise restraint in their utterances and conduct, warning that inflammatory remarks, personal attacks, and circulation of private communications could undermine public confidence and distract the government from its developmental agenda. While acknowledging that politics is dynamic in a democratic setting, the forum emphasized that political engagements must be anchored on maturity, decorum, and mutual respect to preserve Kano State's long-standing reputation for political awareness and civility. As the 2027 general elections draw nearer, political activities across the country are intensifying, with politicians aligning and realigning across party lines. The ruling All Progressive Congress has recorded a wave of defections by elected office holders, a development that analysts say could shape the political landscape ahead of 2027. Bello Musa completes the report.
The recent surge in defections by politicians across different political parties reflect renewed alignment and strategic positioning ahead of the 2027 elections. Nigeria has witnessed the movement of governors, lawmakers, and other key political figures into the ruling APC. However, the African Democratic Alliance ADC has also received defectors, signaling that political calculations are not limited to one party. Political analysts say these developments are likely to reshape the electoral contest and redefine party strengths as the elections approach.
So what this simply suggests is that in 2027, Nigerian politics, Nigerian democracy is not going to change from the past. So because it's the same thing that is happening this time around, it's even happening in a worse manner that people are simply cannot understand how within a span of 4 years a whole democratic system of Nigeria is turning into a one-party state.
So it is an absolute desire to control not only the political parties, but also to control the masses of the Nigerian people, such that everybody will just toe in line.
While some observers describe the mass movement into the APC as a threat to Nigeria's multi-party democracy, others argue that the trend reflects the growing weakness of opposition parties.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, it's not that the country is shifting to a one-party state, but that we are still practicing multi-party politics. Only that some of the political parties that are believed to be stronger are now becoming weak. Considering now that most of the former contenders who have been participating in the opposition are bringing themselves to one clique, maybe the ADC, SDP, or whichever political party they are choosing for themselves.
Shinko believes the defections further strengthen the ruling party. However, Al-Zubair Abubakar cautions that the influx of political actors into the APC could trigger internal competition and possible conflict within the party.
We had Dr. Peter Uvwie had decamped to ADC from the former party he belonged as the Labour Party. And by implication, this is telling you that in the southeast, the advantage that PDP used to have will now be taken away by ADC, and that will give the APC another advantage, being that if not for this decamping, I'm sure most of those people from the southeast may likely go for the PDP.
But I foresee that there may be an explosion in the APC, because this year that we have come into, that's 2026, is probably a political year. You know that INEC has tinkered with the timetable, and primary elections will be held this year. Once the timetable is out, what will happen is that there will be political maneuvers across all parties and the country. Most of these people that are decamping are thinking that they have automatic tickets into the APC. The contest will come and they will see that they do not have that ticket. Some of them will not have that automatic ticket, including the governors. Then the same grievances will come up.
Analysts predict that more defections may occur across political parties, particularly after party primaries, as politicians position themselves for the 2027 general elections. Bello Musa, Trust TV News Kaduna.
The African Democratic Congress ADC has begun a review of its constitution ahead of its first national convention amid growing interest in the party's 2027 presidential ticket. Checks indicate that the contest for the ADC's presidential nomination is shaping up among former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, former Anambra State Governor Peter Obi, and former Minister of Transport Chibike Amechi. The race gained momentum after Peter Obi formally joined the opposition coalition platform on December the 31st, joining Atiku and Amechi, who have also declared their interest in the 2027 presidential election. The ADC will hold its first non-elective national convention on February 12, 2026, with pre-convention activities commencing on January 20th, including congresses at the polling unit, ward, local government and state levels. Although the convention is not expected to produce a presidential candidate, party sources say it will help assess members' sentiments and begin international engagement with aspirants. A party insider also disclosed that Obi's decision to join the ADC followed assurances of a fair and transparent primary process. The Nigerian Air Force has destroyed several terrorist hideouts in Borno and Katsina states as part of a sustained air interdiction campaign targeting insurgent networks. In a statement, NAF spokesman Air Commodore Ehimen Ejodame said the coordinated intelligence-led operations were carried out between January the 1st and 2nd, 2026, under Operation Hatlenkai in the northeast and Operation Fansanyama Sector 2 in the northwest. Ejodame explained that acting on actionable intelligence on terrorist movements, logistics, and intentions, NAF air asset strokes identified hideouts, movement routes, and assembly areas in the northeast. He said precision strikes were executed against deeply concealed terrorist enclaves at Abirma and Chiralia within the Timbuktu Triangle, following sustained surveillance that confirmed their use for IED production and attack planning. He added that operations underscore the Air Force's resolve to deny terrorists freedom of movement, operational depth, and safe havens across Nigeria. The Kogi state government has pledged a sustained crackdown on criminal elements across the state, assuring residents that efforts are underway to rescue kidnapped victims and restore peace. The Commissioner for Information and Communications, Kingsley Fanwo, gave the assurance on Saturday, saying security agencies are actively tracking criminal hideouts with major operations already in progress. Fanwo spoke following a recent protest by residents of Kaba, Bunu local government area who demonstrated against persistent bandit attacks that have forced many communities to flee. Their homes He said the government understands the trauma faced by families of abducted persons and remains fully committed to securing the release of all victims and prevent further attacks. Troops of the 12th Brigade of the Nigerian Army have killed 3 bandits and arrested a suspected logistics supplier during patrols and ambush operations in Kababunu and Yagba West local government areas of Kogi State. The operations conducted on January the 3rd, 2026, followed credible intelligence on the movement of bandits from the Abankolo general area towards Agbadu Bunu in Kaba Bunu local government area. Acting swiftly, the troops laid an ambush at a key crossing point, neutralizing 3 armed bandits. Further intelligence revealed bandit activity around Saminaka village in Yagba West local government area. Troops working alongside local vigilantes carried out a fighting patrol in the village and surrounding forest areas. During the operation, the army arrested a suspected bandit logistics supplier identified as Sunday Adedotun from Odoeri village. He was apprehended on farmland within Saminaka village. The suspect reportedly claimed to assist farmers in transporting harvested produce. Items recovered at the settlement include cartons of energy and soft drinks, bottled water, and harvested farm produce, suggesting logistical support for the bandits' activities. The Nigerian Army reaffirmed its commitment to protecting lives and property in Kogi State, urging residents to continue providing timely and credible information to security agencies. This is the news update on Trust TV, coming up after the break. Nigeria to lead talks at Africa Energy Indaba 2026 in Cape Town. More news when we return. Do stay with us. You're welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is the news update on Trust TV. Now let's take a look at some of our top stories. House of Representatives release Tax Reform Act to address discrepancy. Air Force strikes terrorist hideouts in Borno and Katsina states. Now moving to other stories. Nigeria is set to play a leading role at the Africa Energy Indaba 2026 as senior African government officials converge in Cape Town from March the 3rd to 5th, 2026. to drive investment, policy alignment, and deal-making in the continent's expanding energy sector. Nigeria's Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, has been listed as a priority speaker at the event, which will hold at the Cape Town International Convention Center. The Indaba is Africa's premier energy platform, bringing together top energy ministers, investors, and developers to accelerate renewable energy, gas-to-power, grid expansion, and industrial energy projects. Other confirmed participants include energy ministers from South Africa, Senegal, Uganda, Kenya, Ghana, Angola, and Liberia, as well as the African Union Commissioner for Infrastructure and Energy, Lerato Mataboge. Organizers say the forum will focus on securing financing, negotiating partnerships, and unlocking bankable energy projects across the continent. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has warned the public and media to disregard a purported timetable for the 2027 general election circulating online. INEC's Chairman Chief Press Secretary Adebayo Aketola described the document as fake, emphasizing that the Commission has not released any timetable. He stressed that INEC operates strictly within the law, citing Section 28(1) of the Electoral Act 2022, which mandates the publication of a notice of election not later than 360 days before polling day. Oketola assured Nigerians that the official timetable will be released in due course, fully compliant with the Constitution and the Electoral Act, and communicated through verified INEC channels. He urged the public and media to rely only on INEC's official platforms for accurate information. And in Uvwie, Delta State, a vibrant call to reconnect with cultural roots resonated at the annual Uvwie Day celebration, urging young people to embrace their heritage as a tool to address contemporary social challenges. Jonathan Awanyai brings in this report.
Indigenous from Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo, Igala, Isha, Urobo, Ijo, Tiv, and Ishekiri communities came together to showcase the rich cultural heritage of Uvwie Kingdom during the Uvwie Day celebration. Residents expressed concern over the growing disconnect between youth and their cultural roots, highlighting the erosion of traditional values and the rise of social issues. Community leaders stressed the importance of reconnecting with traditions to instill resilience, a sense of identity, and belonging among young people.
And this event every year brings in all sons and daughters of Uvwie in diaspora to come together. This is a forum where we sing some ourselves. We think all through the year, this is where we meet ourselves.
Well, the impact so far, we foster unity among the Uvwie people, and most especially the area of peace that will bring further development to the kingdom.
We value our cultural system and we address strictly to it. We'll find out that the rate of crime will be highly reduced. Communal living will be more enhanced.
I tell people, Uvwie Kingdom, they are lovely people, very lovely, and the land is fertile. So I want non-indigenous to recognize and associate with Uvwie sons and daughters. My Uvwie people, I'm also an Uvwie by chieftaincy that they should maintain peace and orderliness, because I remember before Dr. Emmanuel Sedeso, the Uvwie of Uvwie Kingdom, JP, before he assumed the throne, we have not been peaceful. But since he assumed the throne, we have been peaceful and lovely.
This is how we do it from time immemorial. This is today to display culture of Uvwie. What we just saw now is the display of culture, so that those that are not witnessing, they will see it. For some time now, they have not been doing it. But we said no, we will revive the culture of the community. So that was why they have come here to display it. So people are so surprised by the culture.
To come together as a kingdom, to appreciate ourselves, appreciate God, and appreciate our king.
Most of the youths are into drugs, and if we can take them out of the drugs, I think we can make proper use of them.
We used to come here with all of us to be attended, to pay our loyalty to the Royal Majesty of Uvwie Kingdom, so that to display together with them, to show them with our own, our community culture.
Leaders emphasize the crucial role of parents and elders in passing on cultural knowledge, advocating for a balance between heritage and modernity. By fostering a deeper understanding of their traditions, participants believe young people can better navigate contemporary challenges while preserving the essence of their identity. Uvwie Day continues to serve as a platform for cultural unity, bridging generations and encouraging a renewed appreciation for heritage. Jonathan Anwanyai, Trust TV News, Asaba.
And in business, developing countries including Nigeria are grappling with a historic debt burden, with total external liabilities reaching $8.9 trillion in 2024, according to the World Bank's 2025 International Debt Report. Between 2022 and 2024, these nations paid $741 billion more in principal and interest than they received in new financing, marking the largest shortfall in at least 50 years and putting intense pressure on public finances. The report noted that while some relief came in 2024 as global interest rates peaked and bond markets reopened, the situation remains fragile. Countries avoided defaults by reconstructuring $90 billion in external debt, the largest annual restructuring since 2010. Private bondholders contributed $80 billion more in new financing than repayments, taught at steep costs with interest rates averaging around 10%, roughly double pre-2020 levels. World Bank Group Chief Economist Indaba Jill warned global financial conditions might be improving, but developing countries should not deceive themselves. They are not out of danger. Away from Nigeria, President Donald Trump announced on Saturday that American oil companies will be allowed to tap Venezuela's vast crude reserves following a U.S. military operation that captured Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife. The military strikes targeted Caracas early on Saturday, and Maduro was subsequently flown to New York City to face drug trafficking and weapons charges. Trump, however, maintained that the embargo on all Venezuelan oil remains in full effect. The sanctions on Venezuela dates back to 2017, with additional oil-specific sanctions imposed in 2019. Despite the restrictions, Chevron has continued operations under an exemption, running 4 oil fields in partnership with state-owned PDVSA. Venezuela produces just under 1 million barrels of crude per day, with much of it sold on the black market at steep discounts. Trump justified the military and economic actions by claiming that Caracas used oil revenues to finance drug terrorism, human trafficking, murder, and kidnapping. The country holds about 17% of the world's oil reserves, according to the International Energy Agency 2023. But remains far from a leading producer due to years of mismanagement and corruption. And now in sports. The 2025 African Cup of Nations AFCON is underway in Morocco, with Nigeria's Super Eagles among the 16 teams that progressed to the knockout stage after 3 rounds of group matches. As Africa's biggest football showpiece gathers momentum, attention has shifted to the continent's top stars, many of whom are eager to cement their status as national icons on the biggest stage. More than 30 Premier League players are featuring at the tournament, including Egypt's Mohamed Salah and Manchester United. Forward Brian Mbeumo across Europe's elite leagues. Other standout players expected to shape the competition include Morocco's Achraf Hakimi and Nigeria's Victor Osimhen. Osimhen has already made headlines after ending a 9-match goal drought by scoring against Tunisia, reaffirming his importance to the Super Eagles. As Nigeria's campaign continues, squad violations may shape narratives, but AFCON has often defied financial logic. For the Super Eagles, confidence remains that individual brilliance, led by Osimhen and supported by a balanced squad under Eric Chile, can once again turn potential into continental success. And with that, we come to the end of the news update on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all media platforms and subscribe to our YouTube channel for a constant live stream of programs and documentaries. My name is Hawa Gambo, saying thank you for joining us and see you next time.